Hello and welcome to Side Talk, episode 6, with the Left Side's monthly review show with myself, Ash, and my handsome compadre, Scott. Scott, how's it going, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too. And it was extra cool to see you in person at All In last weekend. So, yeah, we have much to discuss, and All In is exactly where we are going to start. So we'll kind of just start from the card and work our way up and review and talk about whatever comes to mind. So we won't touch too much on the pre-show, but there are a few things that I would like to just point out. So we had the Jamie Hayter return, which was absolutely fantastic. A bit of a shock, given it was the pre-show.
Yep.
Everybody that I spoke to, if you watched our hype show, everybody on that show expected the. So we had Camille and Mercedes on the main card. We had it was Mercedes versus Britt. Everybody kind of expected that Jamie Hayter will come back and it would be Brickhouse versus Hayter kind of thing. But no, that's not how it went down. So a huge welcome back to Jamie Hayter after 15 months out. Much needed injection of just like she's a star in the women's division for sure. So yeah, welcome back to her. And we had the Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway, Big Stoke, which was definitely an entertaining one. I wanted Stoke get like mauled in this match, and he certainly had his moments. So yeah, it was quite a bit of fun. The winner of this match determined the stipulation for Willow's and Chris's match at All Out. It was, did Willow win?
Yeah, and
Tomohiro,
yeah, she's picked to have a Chicago street fight.
Yeah, I blanked out for a moment there. I couldn't remember who won. Oh yeah, of course. Stokely took a massive slam, and he ate the pin. So yeah, that was good fun. It was exactly what you expected, really. A bit of shenanigans and hilarious antics from Stokely. That's what he's all about, just antics. So that was really cool. So there was Saraya coming out. And she had quite the entourage behind her, and that included her family. So Zach Knight, and then Ricky Knight Jr. and her mum and dad, I'd imagine, but also included were quite a number of independent talents from the British independent scene. So there was Rio, there was Lizzie Evo, there was Cameron Kai, there was Jack Stelstrom, and Harry Milligan also included. A big shout out to Nick from Shack Attack on Instagram for letting me know the latter mentions, because I wasn't sure who they were, but now I do. Thank you, sir. But yeah, super cool for them to have that moment in front of 50 odd thousand people. It's hopefully it's like a taster of what they have to come, because they are all super talented. Rio and Lizzie Evo definitely deserve the world, because they're doing women's wrestling absolute justice at the minute. And Cameron Kai is very talented indeed. On the RevPro shows that I've seen him on, so fantastic stuff. And was there anything else on the pre-show that you wanted to mention?
I think that's about, yeah, you covered it pretty well there. I was actually caught out because I was after the 10-man tag team, with Dustin and Sammy and everyone, which is again is a good match, and Sammy I thought was particularly impressive in the Von Erichs. And after they did the Iron Claw, I was like, right, there's still 10 minutes. It's just going to be chat. So I nipped to the toilet. And I was out the back, and then they were like, "It's Saraya's music," and I was like, I saw her yesterday at RevPro. It's fine. And then Jamie Hayter's music hit, and I was like filling up my water bottle after I, next task to tick off.
Oh.
And Wembley's such a big place. You walk to the toilet, it's a couple of minutes, and you walk to get some water from the water refill station, that's another 5 minutes. By the time you get back, my mate Ali, I said, "What did I miss?" He was like, "Well," but I was like, "Oh, I'll watch it on the thing." But yeah, I was a bit surprised that they put it on the pre-show. I guess it's to get people to buy in to All In, the people that are watching it home. But I think we're all kind of thinking she'd figure some way into the Brit storyline. But the rumblings are, obviously, these are rumors and whispers that her and Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker have fallen out. They're not getting on as well. So that's maybe explains. And on Dynamite this week, they were kind of leaning heavily into it's the fault of the Outcasts that Jamie's been out. And the footage was so old. It was pre-Timeless Tony Storm.
Wow.
Ruby Soho hadn't, wasn't even, and wasn't pregnant, let alone had the baby. And yes, and Soraya, and it was like, oh, that was a long time. She has been out a while. A hell of a lot has happened. So yeah, I guess you've got to kind of make do with the situation with how things have transpired since she's been away. But it was definitely a surprise.
Yeah, for sure. But a welcome one, all the same. So let's start on the main card. So the first match, surprisingly, was the London Ladder match for the trios titles, and hilariously, House of Black was the first entrance in broad daylight.
Yeah, so weird.
Very, 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 very peculiar. Like last year, it was just when it had gone pitch black. I think their match was the match before the main event, so it was pitch black. They could do the entrance, with the lights go out and stuff like that, but like it was broad daylight. So this match was to follow from where I was sat. I had quite a good view, but there was a lot going on. There was a lot of people to follow.
Yeah,
and I could only really see what was going on in the ring because unfortunately there was a complete lack of screen for people for where we were sat to look at because our screen was behind us. So everyone was trying to break the neck to see what was going on, and it was just uncomfortable. Would have been better, nicer if there was a screen somewhere for us to just kind of follow what's going on the floor and that. But from what I could see and what I watched back on the journey home, it was a lot of fun, lots of spots, super cool, and the eventual winners were pretty shocking, to be honest with you. But it was won out by BCC and PAC, which was a bit of a thrown together team. But I think we kind of understand that the BCC was supposed to be the Lucha Brothers. It was supposed to be Death Triangle in this match. Seems like they're on the way out, so they were replaced. Pac got his big Wembley moment after missing out last year, and that is just absolutely fantastic. So,
yeah.
How do you feel about this, dude? Any thoughts?
Yeah. Just to pick up on what you were saying there, well, we were set on a long side, so we had a screen, and I totally didn't realize that there weren't screens on the shorter sides. I guess they were relying on the ones at the back above this, but if you're looking from this side to this side, it's too far away, and it was quite a harsh light, and vice versa. So, like you're saying, a lot of people I've heard since then, I had to keep turning around, like you've just mentioned. I think last year there was 4 screens, so whether it's not they just didn't pack enough screens. Or if it was something to do with the revised setup following on from the Taylor Swift gig. It seemed to be a bit of a shame that every time things went to the floor, lots of people couldn't see what was going on. And obviously in a ladder match, 70% of it's going to be in and around the ring, and it's you're just going to be reduced to watching climbing up the ladder spots and it's it's a shame, but it's something that they'll obviously work on for next year for Forbidden Door, whichever venue that's at, and also for 2026. But yeah, good fun match. Where we were set, we could see instantly Christian jumping out of the ring and running all the way. The scale of the walkway was it's basically like the length of half the length of a football pitch, and just to see him running the whole way was all the way to the back was absolutely fantastic. When you watch it on the TV, you kind of get a couple of shots of him, and it's not entirely clear what he's doing. Commentary is saying, "Oh, he's running away," but to see him like skedaddle the whole way and to be able to watch him doing it was fantastic. And yeah,
where we were sat, I didn't see him leave. So when he ran back out later on in the match, I was like, "Where did he leave?" I didn't get to
exactly. And that's something that the cameras also seem quite tight on the action. From you get that weird thing when you see something live and then you watch it back. You kind of that's not how it was because you were watching it, but you remember all the spots and there was a lot going on, and good to see the Bastard Combat Club, we'll call them,
like it.
And it was like a good spot for Pac to be holding the gold. The trios title was kind of gone off the boil a bit, so put them on like three very talented, high level athletes in the company is a good for me. I think I would have picked maybe House of Black, just because I think they should win everything all the time. But Brody King is so ridiculously over. Everything he did. Yeah, all of Wembley was barking. So, but everyone had a good time, and House of Black shaking hands with BCC at the end. Interesting touch. So yeah, good match. Good starter.
Cool. Yeah, I thought House of Black were going to win this one just because they kind of need something to do, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting that they went with the Bastard Combat Club. Maybe just as Pac joined the BCC, is this going to play into some kind of feud with Claudio because they've not the best of friends in recent times? And I think Pac got injured against Claudio for the ROH title probably about a year or so ago now, I'd imagine. But yeah, very interesting indeed. So moving on to the second match, which surprisingly was the women's title match. Timeless Tony versus Mariah May, the Glamour. What do you reckon, dude? What did you think about this one?
Good, solid match. Lots of intrigue in this one. It was probably one we said last time. It's one of my look forward to matches. I don't think it disappointed. Luther's back. I couldn't remember the last time I saw him, and he played some great parts in this. He was probably the best Luther has been, because I'm a bit hot and cold with him. I kind of feel like he's there because he needs something to do, but it works. And I kind of felt at the beginning it kind of diluted the character of Timeless, but now I'm like, you can't really think of one without the other in that role. Mariah slapped her own mother in the face. I had no idea who this woman was, because that weird thing of watching it without commentary, and you just say, oh, she's hit a fan, because it kind of flashed up very quickly. And obviously when you watched it with commentary, Excalibur's like, she slapped her own mother in the face. But because there was kind of like nothing on TV before that to say that her mum's going to be there, or they could have flashed something up saying Mother May or something. So it was just basically she slapped someone, and then Tony went and hugged her, and I thought, oh, it was just a fan, or maybe a reality TV star or a celebrity I didn't realize. But my favorite bit was when Mariah went to get the belt to hit Tony with, but Luther has grabbed it and gives her the up yours with his little butler glove on. And yeah, Mariah May is the champion. So we've had a title change already. Well, that's our second one, isn't it? Two for two. And also it's our first singles match after about an hour and a half or so, isn't it? Because we've had like you know, a mixture of tag matches. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 tag matches, and this is our first one-on-one. So I think it was a very good, simple, straightforward, told a good story. I thought Mariah would win because she's just from up the road in Tottenham, and it was time for her to take over. There's a funny thing I saw. It was a web exclusive where Tony's leaving Wembley with Luther, and she's just wandering out into the car park, kind of like dancing and bedraggled and doesn't know where she is. The funniest thing though is that they're obviously just filming this for like the YouTube, and the security at Wembley have no idea what's going on. There's just people sat there like car park wardens going, I guess the wrestling's in town. But yeah, it's really funny.
I saw that. Huge props to Toni Storm. 11 months as champion. She's done a damn good job. She's on the run of her life at the moment. So absolutely fantastic for her. Maybe she'll have a bit of a rest now, take a month or so off. Who knows? But yeah, huge congratulations to Mariah May. She is worthy, and it's really nice to have like a new champion as well.
Yeah, and also they had Mina was in the crowd watching as well. So
yeah, looking all this business.
Yeah.
So super cool cool moment, cool match. Good fun. Was it the FTW title match?
Mr. Jericho next.
So this match made me laugh because I've never seen so many people get up and leave once like the video package came through on the screens. I've never seen so many people stand up and leave than when like Fozzy were about to start playing and stuff like that. Like,
I think Fozzy was earmarked for a piss break for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was really something, man. Just watching like thousands of people just scream out.
Well, I've seen Fozzy twice at Wembley now, and that's
never asked you either.
It's like a sick badge of honor, yeah.
For the sickos.
Yeah.
I mean, this match was fine. I wasn't exactly hyped for it. It was fine. Great moment at the end with Taz putting the Taz mission on. Was it Brian Keith or Big Bill?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Because Big Bill went through the table.
Of course. Oh yeah, the barbed wire like tray thing on top of the table. That looked awful. So Taz put the Taz mission on a guy about the same height in Brian Keith, and Hook regained his FTW title. This match was fine. I've not really got a lot to say about it.
I like the spot where Jericho got the cricket balls out.
Oh yeah, I thought they were apples.
There's a guy in front of us, and he was like, "Oh, he's got some apples," and I thought, "Yeah, they're apples." And then I was like, "Hang on a minute, apples doesn't really bad apple." And they're cricket balls. And when Hook was whipping them at Jericho's legs, that was very amusing. And he had the cricket bat with Hi Guys, and he was choking him out with the Hi Guys cricket bat. That made me chuckle as well. But
I missed that.
Yeah, it's good that Hook is the FTW champion. I saw on the media scrum afterwards, journalists called it out as a joke and an insult, which kind of really got rightfully shut down by Tony Khan, because you know it's
Hook did not look happy.
No, it was a dumb question, but I'm sure the guy didn't mean it that way. But just think what you know. And but you know, it's a belt of a lot of history, and Hook's got the belt back. I was hoping, and they were kind of hinting afterwards that he maybe he's going to retire that belt and go after some other championship gold, which because it's almost kind of like a crutch they use. He always falls back on. But Hook's massively popular. Again, a guy a few rows in front of us stood up and showed everyone his Hook tattoo. I mean, he's got a level of devotion with fans, and people love Hook, and I think, unfortunately on Dynamite we saw him again. I mean, I love all the wrestlers that are in the conglomeration. I think they're great, but even I was kind of like, oh, he's back fighting Chris Jericho in the Learning Tree in a match which doesn't really mean anything. I mean, it looks like he's going to be entering a feud with Roderick Strong now, which is interesting. But I think they just kind of need to move away from FTW and, put a real belt on him. I mean, I don't say like a real belt like a dismiss FTR, but if you're not going to recognize, in their words, it as a recognized belt, then they don't recognize it as a real title. Have some faith in the guy and, get him, in a program with Jet Perry maybe after he's finished with Danielson. But that guy Hook is, if you're looking to boost attendance and get a new crowd in, I think he's someone that has that appeal to people outside of wrestling. We'll watch him,
sure.
definitely. And he's beaten Chris Jericho at Wembley now, so push him.
Yeah, I'd like to see how he does in the match against Okada for the Continental title. To be honest with you, I think he'd.
Well, that match he had, was it back in January where he had that fight with Samoa Joe for the world? That was it. You don't let him get sucked into a program of Jericho after that. But obviously Samoa Joe's off on TV, and you've got a lot of injuries, and if you think about the people we didn't see at this event, Omega, Jay White, John Moxley, there's so many people out injured. Eddie Kingston. It's like you could put on a pay-per-view at all those people that are injured, and it'd be a top draw. There wouldn't be any mid-carders on it. It's ridiculous how many people are out at the moment.
Yeah, it is indeed. So that brings us swiftly on to the Casino Gauntlet match, I believe, was the next match.
Oh, you've missed out the tag team.
Oh, right, okay. I thought it was the Gauntlet and then the tag title match. So,
no, it's tag teams. So Bucks, FTR, the Acclaimed, all of them got a good reception. It was a good match. They were mixing it up. So Caster was doing EVP triggers, and those guys can't have a bad match. And everyone loves, I say the Acclaimed also, but everyone loves FTR, and everyone Wembley singing along to every FTR will never get old. I think it went. It was about 13 minutes. But yeah, a good, solid. You're not going to get a bad match with those guys. For me, though, and you'll probably have much more to say on this. Grizzled Young Veterans coming out at the end was just like, now it makes sense. Let's restart the tag division with these guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. So the Bucks, I couldn't see from where I was sat. I watched it back on the way home, as I said. And then I realised that they were dressed as Paul and John from the Beatles, Sergeant Pepper era, which I think might have been a little bit of cheeky foreshadowing, because obviously the GOIV come in, storm the match, and take out everyone basically, which was, it just felt like a real shot in the arm for the tag division, because as we were talking about on the hype show, we were quite unhyped about the tag division in general. There's just not a lot going on, and it felt like all three teams in this match were basically the only teams available for this kind of level match. So GOIV being introduced or reintroduced, kind of feel like that match on Collision a couple of months ago shouldn't have happened, because this would have had more like, oh my god, like reaction reaction to it. So, I mean, I'm completely biased, but GOIV fucking rule. So let's go, boys. Very, very interested to see. They had a backstage clip with the books as well, and they were saying that they're coming. They're coming for the tag titles, but the book says that you've got to go through the entire division first. So
yeah, that's
it.
Good. Yeah, definitely needed.
Starting with the Outrunners on Rampage this evening at time of recording. So yeah,
can't wait.
You know, the youngest men alive, gritting their teeth.
Amazing.
Huge shout out to the Outrunners, fucking legends. I would have loved to have seen them at Wembley. My friend bought All In on pay-per-view.com, and he was sending me pictures of the chat on pay-per-view.com, and Truth Magnum was in the comments just saying who has the best time serious during like a match, who has the best time serious answers only. Just being a div and stuff. So absolutely fantastic.
Those guys can kind of they're like filling the slot of like the Dark Order, you know, that kind of fan favorite, you know, get the crowd hyped. Yeah, great stuff.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, there was a point in this after GOIV had run in, there was a point where I kind of felt like another team's music was about to hit. It never came, and I'm not disappointed, but I just kind of felt like, oh my god, is there going to be? Is there something else now? Like two new teams for this tag division? Holy hell, that would be absolutely fantastic. Yeah. But it never came. Well, that's fine. I'm just splitting hairs. It's just how I felt in the moment. Like I really hope that Machine Guns do end up turning up in AEW, because that would just be
yeah. I mean, it's interesting today that apparently some sources from WWE are saying that recent signings and re-signings are bad for business because AEW are giving people too much money, which I think is incredibly disrespectful to the people that they've given the money to. And at the end of the day, it ain't your money. Why are you worried about someone else's money? You know, it's not like Tony Khan shares a bank account with his mother. So get over it.
Yeah,
the thing is, you know, if you weren't trying to, if there wasn't a competition, then there wouldn't be higher prices. So I think it's maybe, you know, a case of like, you because there's competition, people are getting what they deserve.
Yeah, for sure. And as I commented on, I think Cultaholic quoted this on a post earlier. I replied saying it stopped being WWE's business when they how much Swerve earns when they released him. So you know, why? And people break their bodies like on a daily, on a regular for our entertainment. They deserve to be paid. So
it's very strange. You imagine any other industry or where you got fired by your company, and then you went and found a better paid job somewhere else. And then your company went to the local newspaper and said, they're massively overpaying that dude. It's just like so weird.
It might be sour grapes because if you cast your mind back to maybe 18 months, 2 years ago, Swerve was apparently one of the people WWE were
they wanted him back.
They were tampering with and stuff, and he said no. Very, very stern no. So whatever. I'm not getting too drawn into it too much. It's just one of those things social media is going to melt down about and stuff like that. But people deserve to earn money, and that is all I'm going to say, really.
Yeah.
So, should we move on to it should be the Casino Gauntlet match? Is that right? Yay!
And I think that was the kind of reaction of the crowd when this Casino was announced. Everyone was like, amazing. Let's go from the start with the Mr. Bean intro for Orange, which was...
It was amazing. It was so good. Yeah, that was one of those moments where I opened my neck to look at the screen. I was just like, it's fucking Mr. Bean! This is amazing!
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and then his first opponent was Okada, so we got to see OC versus Okada, and everyone was going nuts. It was brilliant.
Holy shit, man! It was absolutely brilliant. I was I was really hoping we get a Carter on the show. It's in some regard, and I'd never seen a Carter live, so when the penny dropped, fuck me, I exploded out of my seat. I was just like, holy hell, let's go! And then so like entrant 3, I think, got the biggest cheer apart of anything on this entire show, other than the main event, and that was a huge. I suppose it shouldn't be a shock, but it was a shock return of Nigel McGuinness. It was just absolutely, the whole place erupted. It was amazing, and then the entire crowd were just like singing his name for the entire time he was there, even when he was like selling on the outside and the focus was on other people in the ring. Like everyone was just like, "Oh, Nigel McGuinness." He looked great shape. I'd love to see, and then like him and Okada had like a face-off. I need that match. I need it. Do it, wrestling gods. Do it. Bring it. Give it to us. Give me what I want. So and then I think it was Kyle O'Reilly that came up next. But then I was kind of like half chatting to the guy next to me because I was sat by myself, and I was just like, "Do you think Zack Sabre Jr. might show up in some capacity this evening?" And then literally, like, his music hit like 30 seconds. I was like, "Yes, man, this is brilliant." Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. What is it? Unagi? Is that the thing?
Yeah, that's the
yeah, man. So yeah, again, the place erupted. G1 climax winner. So absolutely fantastic. Congratulations to him for winning the G1 and getting to perform in front of 53,500 fellow countrymen.
Then you're like, oh, we're going to see Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness. It's just like this match has just kept giving. It's so good.
Wrestling gods, give us what we want. It's like, and I can't remember. I think it was we had Roddy Strong. And my mind kind of goes a bit blank after that. What really, Kyle O'Reilly, Roddy Strong, Mark Briscoe, of course it was. What really took me aback though was the ovation that Jeff Jarrett got. Like, fucking love Jeff Jarrett. It really surprised me. Really did.
I think there was enough there's enough hairy old men there like me that will just cheer Jeff Jarrett. You know, it's great. Really like kind of like this kind of renaissance of Jeff Jarrett. It's fantastic. He's gone from someone you're like, oh, Jeff Jarrett, what's he doing here? Yeah, what are they doing for him? To like, he's back. He's back. You can see he's feeling it again. I think it was just the booking when he first came over with, like, he was doing, finding his feet. And now he's kind of like with these, he's like wise elder statesman kind of role. You can't go wrong really. Just thinking also, was he just before Ricochet? I get them the order confused, but Ricochet obviously.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
was a massive pop, and he did some incredible stuff. And you're like, wow, I can't wait to see what he does. He really looked. Everyone knows how impressive he is. I see him. Just the again, what we're saying about like going beyond people that usually watch AEW. My friend was watching it at home and he texted me. He's like, "Holy crap, Ricochet!" And I'm like, He had no idea. Last he saw, Ricochet was being power bombed through a car window, and now he's so he was just like, he didn't, he watched that event, but he's not going to be like combing through the dirt sheets for like rumors and things like that. So for him to see that and say, I was like, I'm there. It's awesome. And then when Hangman came down, it was like, wow, Hangman's got this really angry energy now. And before it was like, yay, the Cowboys here. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's what I felt as well. Where I was sat when his music hit, people just kind of went, ooh.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And like, so the thing I like about Hangman is that everything is very subtle with him, and it's very natural the way he turns from heel to face, and he doesn't come out your sports team sucks, and then next time, hey, I'm the champ now, so I'm gonna right wrongs. He's very, it's very natural, very relatable. Kind of like, you know, his enemies are kind of, he's kind of like on his own as like this main character, just picking fights with whoever he sees he needs to go after, and obviously with this focus on Swerve. So also that the focus of this gauntlet kept changing, and now we're like, right, okay, so now we've got to watch what Hangman's going to do, because obviously he's going to win, right? If he's not, how does this affect the main event? So that was very interesting when he came out. And then we had Mr. Cage hobbling to the ring.
It took about 5 minutes to run back to the ring, which was incredibly entertaining. Just like staggering, like
yeah. He's so good. Anytime, like, because obviously you saw him live last year, but he's just so watchable. I was saying this to Michael, who was on the show last time. When you see certain, we're talking about when we went to RevPro and when the Dijak came, and you see some people that have learnt their craft on the biggest stage of all, which is WWE, and you see the things that they've learned, and things like the way they interact with a crowd, and sometimes they will have a long career, sometimes not such a long career, but when they can use the stuff they've learned in WWE, and then they can, on top of that, put their own personality across and perform elsewhere, and have like, kind of like we're saying with Ricochet, kind of maybe the limit has taken off them. It's just such a joyous thing to see. And we think, right, well, here he comes hobbling down. He's going to do something terrible. And we got Luchasaurus.
Luchasaurus.
And it didn't register with me that it was Luchasaurus and not Killswitch, because I've never, you know, like how sometimes things just never land mentally with you. You're always Luchasaurus to me.
Yeah, definitely.
And we were all thinking, well, this is the Virgil DiBiase moment. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and Luchasaurus helped Christian get the win. Not sure about that. I mean, Christian's obviously going to he gets a shot to cash in, and obviously, like we said, he's a great performer, and it'd be interesting to see what they do when he cashes in.
Yeah.
But is this going to be a bit like the Tony Mariah thing? We're all expecting the turn to happen, and they just say nope. And when it does happen, it's even going to be more impactful. Or is it a case of, no, you should have pulled the trigger when everyone was expecting it?
Yeah, I definitely expected it in this match. I predicted it to happen during the London ladder match. So when it didn't happen, I was a bit like, fair enough, because it was his fault, really, wasn't it, that they lost? Yeah, interesting to see how that develops. Can you see me, dude? You've kind of frozen on my end.
I've frozen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, but I can't.
Okay, we'll have to continue in audio only.
Okay, no problem. Right, apologies for the technical difficulties. What is a Star Talk episode without technical difficulties? So yeah, the next match was the TBS. Oh no, it wasn't. It was the American Championship. Will Ospreay versus MJF. All I've got written down here is just wow. Scott, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, great match again. Another title change with Ospreay winning. I think this is maybe more predictable than most, but about 25 minutes of just like solid great match. A lot of the question was, what are they going to do after they've the 60 minutes? And I think it was a different flavor match. But there's some incredible spots, again, both proving that they're fantastic wrestlers and they just match each other so well. Towards the end, there was a bit of a distraction from someone jumping up on the ring ropes on the ring apron, and a lot of people around me were like, who is it? And I was like, it's Garcia. And people were like, is it going to be Michael Oku? Is it going to be Adam Cole? But when he took the mask off, I was like, yeah, I was right, it's Garcia. And I think if you are featured on a show, let alone a pay-per-view, then it's going to be a kind of indication that Tony Khan wants you around and believes that you are going to be around. So I think that was a really positive thing to say, and it was good to see him.
Yeah, definitely it was. It was shouldn't have been a big shock, but it was a big shock because I was just so like involved in the match. I wasn't thinking about what might happen or whatever. I was just in the moment, and then when the reveal happened, I was like, "Holy hell!" Michael Oku could have equally got himself involved in this match, but yeah, Danny Garcia makes a hell of a lot more sense because now they've got him and MJF have got a match at All Out, which I'm stoked for, to be honest with you. So. Yeah. Super cool. MJF doing top rope moonsaults onto the outside and landing on his feet is really something. Considering that he works like a heavyweight style. But yeah, whatever you can do, I can do just as well, kind of thing. So MJ's a hell of an athlete, hell of a wrestler, and he can do it all apparently. But yeah, Will Ospreay's entrance was really, really cool. I've never played that game in my life, so I don't know the nuances and stuff like that. So yeah, but it was really cool nonetheless to see.
Yeah, I think he's now a member of the Assassin's Creed, so a lot of people are calling for him either as a downloadable character or to even have his own Assassin's Creed video game. But I think the next game being set in Japan, I'd be very surprised if there wasn't Ospreay as a DLC character at the very least. He's obviously been doing a lot of work with Ubisoft and just proving what a games nerd he is. So it's good to see.
Fantastic. He did a really cool entrance at RevPro last year before Michael Oku match, didn't he? Was that also... Assassin's Creed?
It had like an Assassin's Creed flavor in that, like he's based a lot of his ring attire on Assassin's Creed, but this was they were wearing like his past get-ups, and I think he's when he was in Japan, he had the Jack the Ripper kind of attire for one of those later games. So I think Ubisoft and Ospreay working together like this is. It's really interesting for his walkouts, and MJF came dressed as Apollo Creed, which I drew a picture of. So I kind of willed it. I like to think I willed it into. I was hoping he would have come out to the James Brown Living in America, but maybe that was just a check too far, considering we had a couple of other classic rock tunes not too far ahead in the show.
Yeah, for sure, man. Great match. Go and watch it if you can. Definitely up there, and great chemistry between these two. And I would not ever complain about more matches between these two in the future. But yeah, Will Ospreay wins back the international title, and he goes on to All Out to defend against Pac, which will be very nice. I like. So the next two matches were the following match was the TBS title match, Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker. I think this match really, really, really suffered from the emotional exhaustion of the crowd after the MJF Ospreay match.
Yeah.
And it just felt so flat. I could see that they were working their asses off, doing as much as they possibly could, but people just really, really weren't into it, and it was really flat. The the man is back. Welcome back.
Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So yeah, Mercedes' entrance was all fantastical and all that kind of stuff. Shout out to man like Darius and Jordan Said, who were the beef eaters, or they're involved in her entrance all the same. So pretty cool moment for them two to have. I don't really have a lot to say about this match. I really struggled to see what was going on. The crowd was flat, which was quite off-putting, and my neck was getting really kind of painful from trying to look at the screen and stuff by this point. So I did watch it back on the journey home, and it was it didn't do much more for me through the camera than it did watching it with my own eyes and stuff. So how did you feel about this one?
I'm just like you. I was very low on attention span at that point, and very full of bladder. And I think half the stadium was. So that's a deadly concoction. I think if you'd put this on before Ospreay versus MJF, people will still use that as an excuse to go and get some dinner, because again, it's that weird thing when you go into a stadium, you got to get in the queue, say about 3 o'clock. So you've had your lunch, and then it's be dinner time. You got to and you've got to plan your breaks so you don't miss what you really want to see, and you don't want to miss any surprises. I think this match didn't have a lot of stakes going in. It was obviously just, basically you got two of the top women's roster, but and they've had some good back and forth on the microphone. But I think, when people were deciding to, I looked over to where you guys were sat, and there was just empty space because everyone had gone to I think also it's around the time before the food stands were closing down. It's such a shame because they both had really good entrances. There's a lot of pyro for Britt Baker, and people were cheering, but then when the match started, it just seemed to be a little off. I'm not sure why. I know people have got their opinions, and I don't know how much of that is generally what they think and how much baggage that these two people seem to carry with a lot of the commentators for whatever reason. Obviously, I've heard some things about, people are accusing Britt Baker of not maybe being as cooperative as she could, or Mercedes carrying the match. I don't know what happened. I couldn't talk to that, but I just think I was like you. I was like, I'll watch it later, because after 4 hours and you're feeling hungry and tired, you just kind of you just tune out, and it's just it was going to take some spectacle to get you kind of to wake up, and it's just a very long day. Had I been watching it at home, I would have probably paused it at that point, gone and had a cup of tea, come back and be more invested in it. But it just it raises the interesting question: what could you have cut from the match? From the event? And you're kind of looking at Hook Jericho maybe, but then again, you want those guys to you want that story finished at a pay-per-view. So it's a shame, and I think they've both addressed, they've said it didn't go the way they wanted it to go. So we'll see what happens, but you know, with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter seemingly not being in a program together, I just don't know what's going to happen next. And it's all just a little bit off, but hopefully things will work out for both those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Super talented. So, yeah, sky's the limit. And yeah, onwards and upwards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Which leads us to our penultimate match, which was apparently cut for time, and we are ticking on a little bit, so we'll cover this one short and sweet if that's okay, because I'm sure we've got a lot to say about the main event.
Yeah.
And that was the TNT title match, coffin match between Jack Perry and Darby Allin.
Yeah.
They get away. What do you think, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. Was 10 minutes, 10.5 minutes, but for me, I was kind of like, I quite enjoyed the brevity of it. I did say to Ali, I said to him, they've cut this one for time because but I think I quite like the shock of when Jungle Boy, when Jack Perry, the scapegoat, just finished off Darby and he didn't get out the coffin and he zipped him up and he was pouring the light of fear, and you're like, oh my god, what's going on here? During the match, the biggest pop was when Jack Perry got a bag of real glass out, and I think that kind of kicked
smirk. The smirk, he did it.
Yeah, and it kicked the audience kind of like checked out during the previous match. Everyone was back on their feet singing "Cry Me a River."
Oh, cry me a river.
There was a few weedy kind of CM Punk, but then a much louder CM Punk chart.
Yeah, but
and it's like, and I think at this point, it's not even like against CM Punk, but it's like, it's a bit like what chants and things like that. It's just like, oh, come on.
Redundant.
Get over it. Yeah, move on. You know, there was a you know, a bit of a okay. But there's he's the smile on his face, hilarious. But when it looked like it was curtains for old Darbs, you know, Seek and Destroy. My goodness. Okay, Sting.
It's Sting.
Yeah.
I'm sure she probably had an hernia when the music was playing.
And I'm sure it's no coincidence I was seeing pictures in the press of Sting with grey hair saying how he was enjoying his retirement the week before.
Oh yeah.
Only to come back full Sting. For me, even though he's retired, for him to come back as like a Batman kind of character, just to settle injustices as he sees fit and strike the fear of God into evildoers, was fantastic. And see Sting again at Wembley was like, yeah, that's great. Really good stuff. And like I say, it's only 10 minutes, but sometimes that's all you need. It's like a little short punk rock song in the middle of, you know, a load of proggy songs, or kind of, hey, what's that?
Yeah, definitely, dude. And did you see Darby Allin's face? It was he had like thumbtacks or drawing pins for the English audience, like glued to his face.
He looked like he looked like a Cenobite that had come out of a stationery cupboard, didn't he?
I love Hauser. Nice reference. Good stuff. But yeah, it was a very fun match. I don't really remember having Darby having much offense. It was very Jack Perry heavy, which was fine. I was happy with it being short and sweet. Totally. Just gets Jack Perry over as a champ and a threat, basically, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So anything else to add before we move on to the
let's go on to the main event, shall we?
Oh my days. Right, so the main event was the World Championship title versus career, the final countdown. Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson, and all I've got written down here, unbelievable match and moment, and just like holy shit, the whole thing. I've never been part of like a crowd that is collectively so on the edge of deep. Every single last second, every move, every mannerism, every movement was just people were just coiled and ready to spring out of the seats and so invested. It was amazing to feel a part of that and I've experienced that all those emotions that everyone else was feeling. The false finishes, the big moments, swerve, no selling, the Busaico knee. Oh my God.
Cool.
Holy
And
shit. What a
legit
moment.
scary. Like the whole crowd, like 55,000 people went, oh, when he
yeah. End boss type vibes. So yeah, just wow. Just the whole thing was brilliantly done. Absolutely brilliantly done. Danielson looking over to his family while he's getting absolutely beaten the living piss out of, and just like using them as inspiration to fight back and all this kind of stuff. It was just, it was such an incredible ride. The entire, 40 to 45 minutes from start to end was just, I felt so incredibly just on cloud nine. But equally, just I felt like I needed a sleep because I was just so like emotionally spent. But the roar from the crowd when Dan picked up the win and won the AEW World Championship was just otherworldly, transcendental. It was fucking amazing. So yeah, one of my favorite moments ever at a wrestling event. Just wow. So yeah.
And to think when this All In was announced and we saw the ticket prices and we were kind of like, I don't think we'll go this year. Can you imagine if we'd missed? We wouldn't be able to forgive ourselves. I think I'd have to just stop watching wrestling because it'd be too upsetting if it wasn't there. But yeah, from like, the final countdown, from amazing. And Swerve's entrance was so cool. It was just like a massive, it's like being at Wembley for a massive boxing event, kind of like mixed with like a WrestleMania level crowd. And like you say, they're both so good at having the crowd right there. And then, with his yes chants, the way he conducts and brings people down and brings people up. I said on the last episode, I always thought he was winning because he's tricked me every time, Danielson. Every time I watched him, and I was like, I'm not falling for it this time. But even then, I was doubting it. I was thinking maybe he isn't going to win. But I was like, no, he's tricking you. He's tricky. He's that trickster Danielson. But it was fantastic.
They had 53,000 people absolutely in the palm of their hands. And that is such a difficult thing to achieve.
And I think also it's like usually you or I will go to shows at clubs, smaller venues, and you're kind of used to being able to see eye to eye with the wrestlers, and they, you can see the people that are good at working a crowd, controlling a crowd, bring them up, bring them down for all the spots and whatnot. And sometimes the criticism I have of like stadium level events is there's a bit of a disconnect, but with Danielson, we could have been in a little room at Butlins watching him wrestle 20 odd years ago, or whatever, probably more, at the beginning of his career, in Skegness or wherever. he had that kind of control that people have on smaller club venues in Wembley, which is just, it's remarkable. It's incredible. And I think that is why he's quite rightly considered the best, just the best. It's gonna, there are other people, many great talents doing great stuff, but I think even they'd be the first to admit that he's the man. And it was very exciting afterwards for Danielson to say that, the person he'd most like to wrestle next would be, or if not next, at some point next year would be Zack Sabre Jr. And to see those guys maybe at Forbidden Door.
Oh man.
Maybe after Christmas at Wrestle Dynasty, at Tokyo Dome, or just do it both. Just run a program with those two guys, because Zach's the G1 winner and you versus the AEW champ. Potentially Zach could become the IWGP champ before too long. But it was there was nothing no criticism. 10 out of 10, can't change it. Perfect. And to be there was fantastic. When the confetti came down and everyone left, there was everyone leaving the venue singing their hearts out, really happy. And not to end on a sour note, but compared to when we were leaving last year and the things we were reading online, just a contrast of where we're at now and where we were last year, and how one person can either, but it just shows you that just let the wrestling do the talking. And he just seems like such a bloody nice bloke. Could be happier for him, and like obviously his family will be in there. Yeah, it was great. And obviously much praise to Swerve, who had a fantastic fighting championship run. And like we say, final boss, he's really, when he does his scary stuff, really, really convincing. Again, he's gonna have another crack at that belt, and he's gonna have another great championship run. Obviously, he's re-signed with AEW. And this is the one that got away from WWE. I think they'll be ruining the day they basically let him go, because he's showing everyone what he can do and what he can bring, both on the mic and in the ring. And I think this is basically probably, if you look back, it's going to be held as probably the greatest moment in AEW's short, history so far. I think there's an argument you could say this is it. This at the moment, they're up there. This is the best thing they've done. You've basically given us a WrestleMania level event in London that you can get, So I think that's great. And for a company that's 5 years old, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And for any wrestling company that is not named WWE to be able to sell 53,500 tickets for a stadium show should be celebrated. And I will not hear any negativity about it, because it means pro wrestling is alive and well, and that's what we love to talk about and love to watch and love to involve ourselves with. So long may that continue. So moving on from All In, we've got maybe another 10 or 15 minutes left.
I just talk about
go for it,
the night before the anniversary match at RevPro.
Oh yeah, that's what I was getting to. I was going to say we're going to touch a bit on the RevPro. So we'll start with the Summer Sizzler, because that was a couple of weeks ago. The MJF and Oku match in particular. Yeah, absolutely fantastic match. You were there. How was it, dude?
Yeah, great stuff. Really good crowd. MJF really setting up the feud with Ospreay, who came out at the end. It did look like Oku was on his way out of maybe not being at York Hall again, so that was quite an emotional moment. Kind of gave like a bit of a pause at the end. I've frozen again.
You're frozen again. No.
There we go.
Hey.
It's our homage to the technical difficulties that they were having at Wembley.
Yeah, for sure.
He's dropped the belt at Riot Cabaret at RevPro, and it looks like he was one of the people that didn't feature in All In, that we thought maybe he was gonna turn up.
Yeah.
So again, interesting to see what happens there. I'm sure he will at some point. Maybe they don't want too many big, the only time they've done two big debuts is with, Danielson and Adam Cole, wasn't it? So
that was amazing.
So we'll see what happens there. But RevPro put on a really good show at Summer Sizzler, and it really got everyone kind of like hyped 2 weeks into All In season. I mean, I actually bought my ticket for All In after seeing Ospreay's last match in the Indies, the show he did at Crystal Palace. And I think the relationship that RevPro has with AEW is a very good ticket seller for AEW shows in the UK. So it'd be interesting to see next year what shows are being run. I know Ospreay's very keen, you know, running Dynamite's Collisions, Ring of Honor tapings in the UK. And and obviously with the Dynamite in Wales before, they sold that out. They sold that in Collision out. So I think there's a definite hunger and good ticket sales and good crowds in the UK. They've announced that they're AEW going to Australia in February. So if Aussie Open aren't back by then, I don't know what's happening, but let's hope something's going to happen there. But yeah, no, the Summer Sizzler, great match. If you can check it out on the RevPro streaming site, I'd definitely recommend it. And then the night before All In, they had their 12th anniversary show. Started with Grado. So I got my bank holiday Grado fix coming out to like and pray. So always good to see. Lots of great matches. Ricky Knight had a rematch against Zazoya. Unfortunately, that ended early because of an injury, like I think a clash of heads, and the concussion protocol meant it couldn't continue. But Soraya and Zach Knight came out with Ricky, so again we're kind of like, we're in All In season where AEW's in town. You had Dante Martin was in the cruiserweight title match, which was surprisingly won by Will Caven, because he was basically the foil, the comedy spot, getting thrown up in the air by all the wrestlers and then just snatching it at the end. Michael, who was there also, he texted me at that point saying, "No, anyone but him." It really unexpected.
It looks like is it Alex Zane from the States that's Lance Archer's tag team partner. I swore blind it was him. I was like, oh shit, he's back. And then the commentator said Will Caven. Was like, oh right, it's Will Caven.
Yeah. So good on him. He's the cruiserweight champ, and we had an absolute banger Tomohiro Ishii with JJ Gale.
Great match.
JJ Gale, someone we've called out in the past of being one to watch, and had a really, really good match. Ishii is probably one of the best pound for pound workers you could. He's such he's a safe pair of hands. He's got no neck, but he'll never give you a bad match. You know, the no DQ match, the women's match, the Cutthroat Collective against the Faces, with Giselle Shaw was the guest for that match. We had a singles match, Gabe Kidd and Dijak. Again, good fun. Dijak's again looks very impressive. He was great at Summer Sizzler. Really good connection with the crowd, and I know he's really hoping for an AEW stint. I think he'd fit in really well. He's kind of like that physique and kind of powerhouse that they're kind of missing at the moment, with some people being out injured. So I think he'd be a good fit. Sunshine Machine beat your boys, unfortunately, but I mean Sunshine Machine continues. And also, I guess I should have seen that meant GYV as the champs dropping the belts were probably heading to AEW, but I honestly didn't occur to me at the time. I was just like, oh, Sunshine Machine won, so they don't have to split up, and that was what I took from that. But again, another great match for those guys. Mina stood in for Stephanie Vaquer, who still hasn't had a match since WWE have signed her outside of Mexico. I think I'm right. I think she had a match in WWE house show in Mexico, and then hasn't been used, so she could have fulfilled her dates. But hey, we got Mina.
She's got to learn the style, brother.
Yeah, she's the champ. Beat Danny Luna, which I was really surprised. I thought it would just be like it's a nice guest spot, but the title's not changing. I think this might mean that Mina will be back for Royal Quest in October. Maybe the title will change hands back then. But yeah, and probably my favorite match of the night, Zack Sabre versus Hechicero.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah.
My favorite style of wrestling to watch.
Yeah, totally.
I love it. It's so good.
Totally. Yeah. It's basically, I heard someone say the other, in wrestling, they don't do wrestling moves anymore. These guys do, but they do it in a way that's engaging and not 20 minutes of headlocks and full Nelsons. It's world of sport style wrestling that I grew up on, but for today's audience, and so evolved, and it's obviously something that Zach's very keen on, getting over to the world at large. And I think the fact that everyone is recognizing that, and the pop he got at Wembley is, everyone's very proud to have like the first Brit to win the G1. So great stuff. And then we had Oku and Jacobs headlining. Luke is the champ.
Heck of a match. Yeah, man, definitely.
Really good. Yeah.
And Luke Jacobs is the undisputed British champion, holding the Progress World Championship and the RevPro World Championship at the same time, which I don't believe anyone has ever done before, which is just history making. Absolutely fantastic. There aren't many more worthy than him for that accolade on the independents or in independent wrestling in general as a whole. So huge congratulations to Luke Jacobs, smashing it. He retained the Progress World Championship versus Kizlykos on the following Monday as well. So heck of a show. I really enjoyed the Cutthroat Collective. I thought they're a real star-studded collective. So fantastic. Lizzie Evo and Nina Samuels especially. And I was quite surprised by Alex Windsor's addition, because she seems like a very babyface type character, considering she's Will Ospreay's better half. So very cool. And Mercedes Blaze, and remind me of the fifth person. Was it Sapphire?
Yeah,
Sapphire Reed. Yeah, of course. Yeah, pardon my half ignorance there. So it's really cool. I would like to see that kind of faction working around the country. Just basically, I think they will. That'd be cool, because I think Nina Samuels I'm getting to see at Tidal on Sunday. So I'll hopefully she'll come out in the red, giving it all this business. So we'll see. And she's got a match coming up with Thunder Rosa for Riot Cabaret in October. So very cool.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, super cool. So lots to look forward to. I'm going to a Tidal show on Sunday, as I said. Lots to look forward to in September. Tidal. I've got a couple of other shows. I'm going to see a Noah show as well. So looking forward to that stuff. But as for this month's episode, we'll start wrapping up. So thank you for anybody who has been with us for the entire episode. You guys are absolute legends. Would you like to tell the people where they can find you, Mr. Scott?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Scenes of Graphite Horror. Just a new post today, a picture of Swerve, which he's very kindly shared on his stories. So thanks, Swerve. And that's if you like wrestling art and just news and views and photographs and shares, it's a great kind of place to hang out and positive space for wrestling on the internet.
Positive vibes only, and that's exactly how I like to do things. And yes, you can find the left side on Instagram at WTLS 316, the YouTube. Go follow the YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go follow us on Facebook. Type in Work the Left Side, and you can find the private group you can be added to, no problem. Go to us, WTLS420 on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, all good. I'm the man behind the Instagram. That rhymes. I didn't mean to say it like that, but I'm going to say it like that from here on out. So yeah, if you want to chat about wrestling, I am always happy and mostly always available. So yeah, super cool. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us once again for this month's episode. We will see you next month for September. I'm sure there'll be lots to talk about, and maybe we'll have a little bit more time to talk about other companies and other bits and pieces that are going on. But I thought we'd just concentrate on something that was absolutely humongous in our very recent lives and wrestling experience. So yeah, all good. So yeah, thank you very much, and yeah, peace out.